Hello and welcome back to Black Mirror 3. Didn't I say you'd hear from me again? So, from this we left off here in Chapter 6. I'm not sure if it's the last chapter or not. All the games have been 6 so far.
Is higher than the rest of the rooms on the ground floor. Perhaps the secret entrance is hidden under it. Or maybe just old-fashioned underfloor heating. The floor of the perhaps.
So we've got some things here. We've got a dagger, dictaphone, matches, the Bible, and the Gordon file.
File from the Vatican archives. The last entry is from 1923. It notes the handing over of the guardian position to Victoria Gordon. Right at the front of the file is a copy of a letter from Marcus Gordon. In it, he says that the entrance to the Shade Portal is sealed with an altar. The underground chapel was consecrated and prevents the shades from entering the catacombs.
Okay, we've got plenty to do and look at before we call.
Mainly lexicons and biographies about British lords. I found the book about the Guardians here. Mainly...
Oh.
There's only English literature here. Shakespeare, etc. I've already read them all.
So she doesn't have stuff like that. It doesn't disappear.
Your Grace, this is Priory Santolini. There were complications. The exorcism failed. We... No, I don't think that was the reason. Yes, but that only makes sense if the demon is unknown. Correct, Your Grace. We underestimated his strength. Father Frederick is dead. He was thrown across the room, and I... Okay. No, the Guardian is doing well considering the circumstances. Yes, Your Grace. I understand. I also think that the location is crucial. The Guardian had an image of Pictish glyphs with him, the same as those engraved on the Shade Portal. That's exactly where the demon must be forced back. Yes, into the Black Mirror. It'll be no problem to get there. The demon itself tries to force its way to the mirror. It's drawn to it like a magnet. He won't cause us any problems until then. On the contrary, Guardian and Demon will be hard to keep apart. Yes, that's the other side of the coin. But, Your Grace, the man is probably the only one who can fulfill this task. Yes. Is there an alternative to exorcism? Of course, I'll do that. All right, then. First, I have to find the entrance to the catacombs under the castle. A chapel is mentioned in the records, which is found down there. That's where I guess the Black Mirror is. Yes. Yes. Thank you, Your Grace. Thank you. Good. As long as Adrian is still asleep, I can start looking for a way in.
Well, if it's the catacombs,
Most
they were...
passageways in old walls have the characteristic of not being sealed completely airtight. That could help me.
The catacombs were in the basement before, so let's head there.
The entrance to the catacombs used to be under the foundation stone, but Marcus had it sealed off. Now it's only a cellar down there.
Oh,
I
interesting.
once saw such a huge globe in the museum in Moscow. It was also made of metal. I remember that Australia was only half depicted on it, because they hadn't yet mapped it out completely when they made it.
That's interesting. Yeah, not everything disappears. That's strange.
The source of the fire was here in the kitchen. The room up there was the butler's room, I think. A dustpan and brush. These are clearly too small for the current condition of the castle. The electricity in the cellar has been turned off for safety reasons, so unfortunately the light switch doesn't work. Creepy darkness. That reminds me of something very unpleasant from my childhood in the convent. The wine barrels have been empty for decades. The last generation of Gordons were tea drinkers. The sewer system under the castle couldn't deal with all that firefighting water. 3 weeks ago, the water in the cellar was still up to my knees. It'll be months before anyone will be able to access the sewer system without diving equipment. Can't get any further here. The corner's just a last resting place for junk. That's the main switch for the cellar. The electricity has been switched off completely for safety reasons. The well seems to be dry.
Yeah, no, I don't want to. No, that's definitely not what I wanted to do.
The well seems to be a water pump. The workmen brought it with them to pump out the cellar. This was actually only rented for a week.
No, nothing?
The well seems to be...
Huh.
The well seems to be...
Even though we can still look at the well?
The well seems to be dry.
Okay, it's not in here. Huh. Okay.
I'm sure there's wine stored in these barrels.
It's not going to be in the kitchen. The kitchen pretty much burned down.
Black mold. According to Greg, it was caused by the extinguishing water, which offers an excellent breeding ground for molds once it's soaked into the walls. Black mold. Greg was going to repair the grandfather clock, but he never got around to it. I didn't even like horses when I was a little girl. I prefer small animals. A plain marble pedestal. I almost like it more than the sculpture on it.
Oh, can we check the library again?
The Gordon family tree. Many of the guardians were women. Isabella, Emily, Rosa, but also Marcus Gordon, Albert, and Durham. There are records on them in the Vatican Library.
Oh, so not all the males were...
Mainly lexicons. A mighty pillar. The wooden clad.
Oh, we can use it on the column? She did say that they're drafty, so...
There you go. The flame flickers here. There's a draft. And this room has no windows. I guess there's a cavity behind or in the pillar. But how do I get at it? Why didn't I think of that sooner? This plate can be removed. Uh-huh. There's a metal wall behind it. And there's a strangely shaped hole in it too. A keyhole, I guess. The hole is the shape of a cogwheel. A normal key definitely doesn't fit in here. I won't be able to open this secret door.
Okay, so we need a cogwheel.
That many of the Guardians were women. Isabella, Emily, Rosa. But also Marcus Gordon, Albert, and Durham. There are records on them in the Vatican Library. The end. Paintings tell a lot about the period in which they were painted. Fortunately, these ones weren't too badly damaged by the fire.
Definitely sense that one is to the safe.
When I first came here, this room wasn't being used. I've had everything that's still usable brought into here.
Actually, wouldn't Victoria have it in like her jewelry?
Lady Victoria was always very vigilant when I was in the room. I hardly had the chance to have a look around. Well, she'd understand now. There's only jewelry in here. 2 necklaces, a pair of earrings, and rings. It's all silver and stylish. Huh. The jewelry case weighs at least 5 kilos. And what is that? There's some kind of flap on the underside. But how do I open it? I can't see any keyhole or anything like that. I'll show it to Adrian as soon as he's awake. Perhaps he knows something about it.
Okay.
Victoria's jewelry casket. Even though she was really ill in her final days, she still set great store in keeping a well-groomed appearance. Those are all things that were close to Victoria's heart. But there's nothing of interest to me there, though. The image of a beautiful woman. I'm thinking that must be Maria. I completely forgot about the machines. As soon as all of this is over, I'll have them picked up. Just a minute.
Huh?
There's a syringe here with adrenaline in it. I'll take it with me just in case of an emergency. Victoria's dressing room. The only area in this room I could have a look at. But in vain, though. There really are only clothes here.
Oh.
Adrian, how are you doing?
Hungover. What happened?
You suddenly lost consciousness during the exorcism.
Did it work? Is Mordred gone? What about my eyes? Are they still black?
There were a few complications.
So, it didn't work?
Unfortunately not. It doesn't seem Mordred can be cast out with prayers alone.
Strange. It always seems to work in the movies.
Maybe it was the wrong script.
The Bible.
Hmm.
Your eyes are normal again. At least for the moment. But I'm afraid that it won't stay like that for long.
I guessed as much. Why am I in the castle? I thought it wasn't safe here.
That's true, but I had no other choice. Edward helped me bring you here.
Edward? Ugh. And where is Father Frederick?
Oh.
He's still in the church. We're going back to him later. Father Frederick is out of it. Mordred's power was too much for him. We'll have to be quick if we're going to save you.
What are we waiting for then? I feel almost good. At least I'm ready for the final spurt.
I have another idea of how we can get rid of Mordred. But for that, we must go to the Black Mirror, where the curse began.
Where everything began. Victoria told me exactly that, shortly before she died. I should go to where everything began, but I've got no idea where that is and how to get there.
I found something interesting in the library. I think it's some kind of secret door to the catacombs.
A secret door in the library? Let me guess. It's locked, right? And you've got no idea how to open it.
I was hoping you could help me.
Why not? I haven't got anything else planned.
Have you got any idea how to open this? I mean the secret compartment on the bottom. Seems to be a very complicated mechanism.
Yep.
Yes, of course, there's that way too. A golden sword hilt from Victoria's jewelry casket. It's decorated with 4 gemstones, probably rubies. There's a 5th socket there too, but it seems there's a stone missing. Those are...
Oh, whoops. Okay, now we can switch between the two. But there's a stone missing from the handle. Yeah, I can see it, okay.
The entrance to the camp. There are only Victoria's papers here. Bank statements, bills, and so on. They're of no use.
Okay.
Black mold.
Yeah, black mold that's just taking the shape of an reverse cross. Yeah. Convenient. Convenient mold.
The god meant, but also.
Yeah, and the sword doesn't fit, right?
The sword hilt fits perfectly. But nothing happens.
Ah, okay, so the gems give it the shape.
The wonderful cutlery didn't survive the fire very well. I've stored the remains in boxes upstairs. It's raining. It's raining cats and dogs.
Okay, so we can't do anything there.
The entrance to the catacomb.
Okay, so we can't do that anymore either. Huh. So will he take the pliers?
A whole load of pair of pliers. I'll take those and the candle. I don't need the other stuff right now.
Okay.
The grave candle that was in front of the photos of my parents. It's
Oh.
only burned halfway down.
Let me guess, the gem's
Candle
gonna be
for
in
the
there?
dead. A grave candle is better than no light.
Maybe he needs to go in the basement? Come on. You are making this hard. Yeah. Oh, wow.
There's a thick electric cable hanging from the roof, just above a puddle of water. Greg was right. It isn't safe down here. Empty. I'm guessing that they used to store wine or beer here back in the day. Those days are long gone, though. Boxes of empty wine bottles. Just in case there's a life for me after Mordred, I'm gonna give this castle a real cleanup and throw out all of this old junk. Well, I'll hand the job over to Edward, of course.
Yeah. Aren't you just nice?
A shelf of wine bottles. As far as I can tell, they're all still full. 1953. Either extremely valuable or completely disgusting. I need more light.
Oh.
I need more light. A construction light. There are no power sockets down here.
Oh, come on. I mean, come on, this thing is finally getting use.
So now I've got the option to connect something up down there. Here's the end of the energy.
Okay, so we can use
There are
that.
drains under the puddles, but the sewer system couldn't cope with the huge volume of extinguishing water. The water isn't draining away anymore. There are only busted boxes and barrels back there. I guess that's the main switch for the electricity in the cellar. Who needs fuses if you've got such a big lever? The electricity is on. I should be careful where I step and what I touch. Cellars are often used, and it's no different in British castles. At first glance, there's nothing useful leaping out at the second one, too. The electricity...
Okay, so, yeah, if we do that during the
There are
puddle,
metal grates lying around the well. No idea what they're for.
we'll electrocute ourselves.
There's no water in the well. At least not as far as I can see. That's quite strange. A dry well in the middle of a flooded cellar.
Oh, and this.
That's the water pump, which they use to pump away the extinguishing water. It's a real monster, and ancient, too. I'm surprised that thing even works. The wire rope is wrapped tightly around the pipe. I guess it's an earth for the water pump. No idea what kind of pipes those are. Water or sewage, I guess. There are two huge water basins here. They must go back to when they had no running water. I'll put the cable into the connecting terminal on the pump. Quite a clear design. The motor's on the right, the pump device is on the left. The two are connected with a long shaft. The innards of a water pump. I think that's the power connection for the water pump. I guess there were no power plugs back then. that's just one pole. Does this thing use direct current? So that thing on the pipes isn't an earth. It's probably the second pole. You can turn the pump on and off with that. You can even adjust the direction of rotation and the speed. Theoretically, I could pump the cellar full of water again, slowly or quickly. The innards of a water pump. Nothing's happening.
So...
Must be a seriously heavy water bucket if you need a chain like that to lift it. If I wrap the chain around the drive shaft, I could use the water pump as a winch.
Ah, okay, that makes sense now.
I hope the motor's powerful enough.
Because we couldn't do anything with it before because
there are
of
drains under
the water puddle, right? Because we're going to connect it in. Wait, what? Can I not? Wait, what? How am I supposed to get over there then? Like, I can't move it? Is that what you're saying? She won't leave the castle. Oh, that's strange.
There's not much use for a golden sword here. There's not much use for. No, it's in this weather. You shouldn't.
Why?
Valentina,
Yes.
the room in which Mordred crossed over into me. Do you know anything about it?
What kind of room is it?
A kind of ritual chamber. Skulls everywhere, a throne.
They investigated a ritual chamber in the old academy, but all the records were lost in a fire around 1512. And the knowledge of it was lost in the process as well. So no, I know even less about it than you do.
So what actually is this Black Mirror then?
We think it's a kind of portal.
And where does it lead?
Nobody knows exactly, and it's a dangerous thing to investigate. Mordred tried, but the Black Mirror enslaved them. Pope Innocent III believed it might lead to the destruction of Christianity. What we know for sure is that it's older than anything else on Earth.
I thought it might have been built by pagan druids or something like that.
It's much older than that. The Druids used it for ceremonies, yes, but they definitely didn't build it. It's been there since the dawning of time, so they say.
Holy crap. So what is it then?
We can only speculate. The mirror attracts evil, or how should I put it? Absorbs it. According to the old Druidic scriptures, there were regular human sacrifices. Apparently, the altar table in front of the Black Mirror portal was already drenched in century-old blood back then. The souls of the sacrifices are drawn into the mirror, but only if they're absolutely evil. The soul of a good person cannot enter the mirror. It seems to be something like... yes, like...
The gateway to hell, perhaps?
yes. And no, not just the gate, but the mirror too. Glancing into it reveals the innermost self. It reflects the soul for everyone to see.
I wonder what the Pope would see if he looked into it. And all the dignitaries of the world. No wonder the entrance has to be guarded. But times have changed. why don't we just have a look at the thing? Purely scientifically, I mean.
Evil can also break out of the mirror. Its effect is unbound. You can feel its power yourself. Who's ever susceptible is enticed into evil. That's why life in the castle is so dangerous. It's right within its sphere. Mordred was changed. The spark of evil that always smoldered within him was fanned into a blazing fire. He did everything he could to open the portal. Rumors suggest that he almost found the mechanism.
Someone's leaving me messages describing the virtues of a guardian. You don't happen to know anything about that, do you?
I wrote them. They were tests to see if you could become the next guardian in spite of the curse. I had assumed that apart from Victoria, there was only Angelina, but she was nowhere to be found. There was no time. Victoria lay on her deathbed. She was the last guardian. It had to be settled. When we heard that you were maintaining that you were a Gordon and were also innocent of any crime, then the Vatican changed its plan. We had to assure ourselves that you were still of pure heart, and you passed all the tests.
But you weren't there.
True. I wasn't there.
All right, Miss Undercover.
Hmm.
I think we still need something here for the sword hilt to work.
It's not working. You think that's because of the missing gemstone?
Could be possible. The question is, where is this stone? Could be anywhere. Could have been lost hundreds of years ago.
I don't think so. If the key had been broken for a long time, why did Victoria hide it? No. I think the stone is missing intentionally, as an added safeguard. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but where should we start looking?
Did Victoria give you anything before she died? An heirloom, jewelry, a signet ring?
Not to me, but Angelina.
What?
Her bracelet, she showed it to me. Yes, I remember well. There were rubies on it, too. Perhaps we need one of them?
And where is the bracelet now?
The police evidence locker.
Then get it. We don't have much time.
Ah, okay. Pouring cats and dogs.
I've always believed. Strange. It's never been so quiet here before.
Adrian! It's done. Case closed. Angelina's letter convinced the judge completely.
Some good news.
A lot more than that. And is there anything I can do for you?
Now with the case closed, all of the pieces of evidence are no longer required, right?
In theory, not anymore, no.
Then it wouldn't be a problem if I got the bracelet back. You do know that it's a family heirloom.
I'll see what I can do.
Thanks.
Zach!
Oh, are we gonna need the pliers to get it out?
Please.
How's it looking with your transfer?
Now that's lying on my boss's desk. And knowing him like I do, he's gonna let me stew for a while. But it'll come through sooner or later.
Goodbye.
Fare thee well, my lord.
The bracelet is an old family heirloom. It's made of silver and is decorated with rubies.
Yeah.
One ruby's enough.
Dun 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 dun.
The ruby fits exactly into the socket on the hilt of the sword.
Anyone else we need to talk to?
Shop's already closed. Closed for business.
Ah. I guess not. Everything seems to be closed. Okay, well, let's open this up.
Gonna need the right key for that.
Pop!
There's a spiral staircase here. I can't see how far down it goes. It has to be a good few stories. Ladies first.
Are you scared? Or are you exercising your role as Lord of the Manor?
The Guardian isn't allowed to die. Those were your words. I'm just playing it safe. That's supposed to be the catacombs? Looks like the sewer system.
Patience. This is just the beginning.
Okay.
There are hieroglyphics etched all around here. Did the Druids build these walls? Here's an illustration of a house and a jar. Here's an illustration. Here's a pitchfork and a flower. There's a bird and a head chiseled in here. There's a fish and a hand on this column. If my sense of direction's not misleading me, then we're directly beneath the cellar and the chains leading up through the well shaft. If my sense of direction's not misleading me, then we're directly beneath the cellar and the chains leading up through the well shaft. In this environment, there can only be a whirlpool. Huh, the water's been standing there for some time. I reckon that's the remains of the water from putting out the fire. At any rate, it's not normal sewage.
Oh, this is why we needed to erase the chain. Okay, go all the way back.
Valentina! Can you hear me?
Yes?
There are metal grates lying around the well. No idea what they're for.
Oh, we're supposed to lay them on the metal so that the current is conducted.
The power cable is now hanging through the grill and straight into the water. If it weren't for me being a former student of physics, I'd call that kind of action suicide. Now the end of the cable's hanging directly in the water. The electricity is on. I should be careful where I step and what I touch.
Oh!
The electricity is off again.
We need 2 people. You can't do it with just one person. So you need to use one to turn on the power and the other to switch it.
The electricity is on.
I don't know how you operate the machine.
Oh, come on!
The electricity...
Fine, Valentina. Pain in my butt.
But it's blocked with a grill.
Wait. No?
The well, but it's blocked with
You are kidding me. You won't even do it. You son of a...
There's nothing.
I wouldn't know what I might. Nothing's happening.
But we literally can't get through there. Wait, what?
I'll tie the rope to the column here and let it down the shaft. There's a rope hanging in the well. The well shaft leads directly down to the...
Why? Okay, well, we're out of time, so I'm gonna leave it here. You shall hear from me in the next part.